Well, it seems only fitting that the first actual new review that I do is for the Colin Tench project. Last year, the first review that I did was for his Hair in a G-String album, so it seemed only fitting that I'd kick off 2018 with the album that he put out very late last year. And it also comes at a very interesting time because of his passing very late last year as well. And it was a little bit of a shame that I had to go digging for this information that Colin Tench had passed on when he was such an influential behind-the-scenes individual. Like, he did a lot of recording, a lot of mixing, a lot of mastering, a lot of production work on a lot of albums, and so to hear of his passing almost in passing, it struck me the wrong way. So this is a little bit of a tribute to him as well, with all the work that he's done up until this point. Again, he's only really released two and a half albums, two that I've definitely listened to. Hair in a G-String from last year, and this one right here. So enough about, you know, I'm sorry that he's gone. Let's celebrate what he did. Minor Masterpiece by the Colin Tench Project. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, Colin Tench did a lot of behind-the-scenes work for a lot of recording, a lot of mastering, a lot of production work. Much like a lot of people who are behind the mixing board, at some point in their career, they figure, let's get in front of it. Like, let's actually get out and produce some of my own work. And last year he put out an amazing work of Hair in a G-String, and it really blew me away. It did feel a little bit like a half demo, half polished work. And so I was kind of excited when I was researching about Minor Masterpieces. It seemed as though it was going to be more of like a realized album. It is a little bit, on the one hand, more of the same. It does still feel a little bit like half of these songs are demos and half of these songs are very polished and very realized pieces of music. Now, that being said, those demo type of tracks, like the purely instrumental pieces, they still feel more realized and much more finalized than the past works that he's put out. I want to talk a little bit about the concept of this album. Essentially, like a struggling musician that's trying to make it big, he gets his chance into the recording studio and he kind of blows it. And this isn't something that hasn't been done before. A lot of works have done this. Like Kevin Gilbert's Shaming of the True is definitely a forerunner for this. Half of the Tangents, Down and Out, in London and Paris suites have done this before. Within Minor Masterpieces, this is the first one that really kind of like showed how grinding it can be for the rejection, because nowhere on this does he really get that moment of success. What I do like is that the narrative flow on this is very self-aware and very self-referencing. There's many times where it's almost like this individual is talking directly to the audience. There's a moment where he's like, well, I guess I'm going to go and just make myself some tea, and then you hear him leave while he's still singing, and the door slams, and you hear like almost like that muffled, as though he's in a different room as he continues to sing the song. And so that was very, very well done. I love hearing something like that, and it makes me a little bit gush on the inside. And also the way that the album is structured actually adds to its advantage. The first song, how it opens up, See How She Runs, I really dug, I really gushed about this. Like the first couple of spins that I had on this, as I said, giant smile on my face, really, really enjoyed this. It does go very similar to this guy behind me. There is like an exact moment where at first I thought, oh, this is a little bit of the influence, but then when they actually quote it by saying, we won't get fooled again, get on my knees and pray, we won't get fooled again, that's why I'm like, I don't know. But the music that surrounds it is brilliant, and I love the fact, I'm skipping way to the end, that Now Get On Your Way like rejuvenizes this, and it is the best theme on the album, and I love that they did kind of reintroduce it at the end to kind of bookmark the album with the best theme. Don't try to distract me. I've seen it all before. Get on my knees and pray. We won't get fooled again. And so with that fun of See How She Runs, it goes right into Darkness Falls. And I guess within the actual storyline, this is where the character is starting to have some doubts. Like in the first one, he's just like, okay, well, I'm not going to get fooled again. I'm going to go out, I'm going to write my songs, I'm going to make it big, this is going to be great. And then Darkness Falls, that's when the noggin starts to spin. That's what's like, I'm not quite sure if this is really what I want. You know, I'm just going to get bashed again. Like, do I really want this? And so the song is very somber. It's very lamenting. When we come into the third song, which is one of my favorites off of this, Don't Even Want to Do It, Did It Anyway. Even right when this song kicks off, we get that kind of okay, enough of that. Let's kick up the beat. Let's get happening. Let's get a little bit more fun going on. And He's Gone is what I was saying before. The next song of, you know, he kind of leaves and he's singing to himself and he goes into another room, door closes, and he's still kind of singing, and then it brings the camera into that room with him kind of singing it out. So the next like 3 songs, Waiting for Godot, Still Solemn After All These Years, and Grand Finale. These guys are all the instrumental pieces, and I love the kind of wordplay on there. Like, Waiting for Godot is definitely Waiting for Godot. Still Solemn After All These Years, and Grand Finale, like Grandma. These guys are really great. Like, I love Waiting for Godot. I love where the song goes. I love just kind of the ebb and flow, and almost like the train of thought. It works in the general concept because it's him alone working with a lot of these different styles, and so I really enjoy that it centers itself down into that respects. And this also marks like the middle point of the album, which is a very, very smart move because it kind of just ends it at that point, and it starts off the second side with Welcome to Your World, and this again reintroduces some lyrics. It's more of a much more polished song, and it really introduces that concept again of that going back and forth of, do I play the music that I really want to and not really get anywhere within my career, or do I play what they want me to play, advance my career, but not really getting fulfillment out of that? And then the next 3 songs are much like the first side, instrumental, just kind of playing around in different styles. The Squeaky Door is essentially him closing the door to all those worries and just playing in his own little sandbox, not worrying what's going to come out. Under the Conquer Tree is again much more of like a demo song with just the acoustic guitar and a piano kind of playing in and around itself, just trying different things, seeing if it works, seeing if it lands. Viva Vital, I really enjoy this song. I like that it's got a little bit more of like a flamenco flavor to it, a little bit more of like that Spanish guitar era on it, and music-wise, it's one of the strongest pieces. Two final pieces where he actually goes to the recording studio with the execs, and that's where we get into Your Song is a Nightmare, which is, I mean, just with the title alone, you can pretty much tell what it's going to be. He plays this song, it gets really like emotional for him, and the execs are just like, your song is not a masterpiece, it's a nightmare, like never play that again. And then finally, Now Get On Your Way is him kind of accepting that, okay, I'm not going to really make it too much as a musician, but I'm still going to enjoy the journey that I have on it. And we reintroduce that theme from the beginning, and it makes me melt at the end of it as well.
Don't think you'll have to stay here. We stay until we're gone. Cross all your T's and pray we won't get.
So overall, I really enjoyed this album. It was a great way to start the year off. Even though it was released last year, it was still a fantastic way, and I highly recommend that you go and check it out. Obviously, I'm going to probably give this a download album. This is an album that you'll definitely want to download, have it on your computer. In terms of like concept, execution, and enjoyment, it is still pretty top notch, and I still really enjoy it, but it still has its faults and a little bit of a drawback on it. Like the big master like plateau is still heavily borrowing from the influences instead of being its own thing. Now that might have been the point of it, but it is still very apparent on it as well. So that's it from me. That's my take. I love this album. This is one that I hope to revisit throughout the year, much like I did with Hair and a G-String last year. So let me know of your own thoughts. Have a listen to it. It is available on Bandcamp. I'll leave some links down in the description below to let you guys find out about it. So let me know of your own thoughts about this, as well as the Colin Tench project, by commenting down below. If you haven't checked them out by now, please do so. It is well worth your time. That's about it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.
Now they all want to do it.
Mama does it.